Hehe. It was written down. What she wanted to make us do. Couldn't anyone read it? Maria suddenly laughed in a creepy voice. I'd thought she'd been concentrating on the TV, but apparently she'd been listening in too. Without turning away from the TV, she very simply told us what we were forgetting. Beatrice hasn't said once that she wants the gold. All she's asking is whether you're all capable of solving the Eptoph's riddle or not. Though I'd bet she's pretty sure you could never do it. Heh. So are you saying you can solve it, Maria? I don't care. After all, she'll take me to the Golden Land, so I won't get in Beatrice's way. Ouch! In any case, it looks like we'll have to ask Maria if we want to learn anything more. Maria, tell us. Who is this Beatrice? What is she planning? You know, Beatrice is a witch. She can do anything with her strange powers. The power of magic can do anything. It can even create gold or bread. And of course it can create sweets too, right? You saw it, didn't you? Heh. At that time, everyone jumped at the sound of the door being slammed shut. Boy, everyone came in. One sec. Okay. When we turned around, we saw that Rosa had suddenly returned with bringing Genji and Shannon. Then she rapidly approached Maria, her heel squeaking, and hit her on the cheek. Stop talking about that. Battler-kun and the rest will take it badly. Ugh. Without waiting for a response, she hit Maria's cheek once more. Everyone could only stand there, stunned. I don't know what means. What about yes? Ugh. She mercilessly hit Maria's cheek again. Maybe Maria didn't feel like resisting after being hit twice. She weakly said yes. Rosa-san, there's no reason to be so harsh. This is my daughter's education. Do not interrupt. The atmosphere around Rosa, with Genji and Shannon standing at attention behind her, was somehow cold yet dignified. Completely different from how she had seemed before she left. She was holding something that looked like a gun. I couldn't imagine that she'd be holding a toy in this situation. They found the gun again. Aunt Rosa, what is... Fathers. Because of the current situation, I borrowed it specially. Everyone should understand. The culprit is still nearby. We don't know what might happen. I agree. Rather than trying to figure out what the culprit is planning, we might be better to first think about our own safety. Maria. Like, no, solve the dang riddle. Father was fine, but he was considerably shaken by these sudden events. Fortunately, he said he won't leave his room, so he should be safe. Did he now? Do we trust you? I have a feeling Grandfather is gonna show up dead immediately. This makes me think that last time Matsuri did it and this time she did it. Or is that too easy? I don't know about last time. Natsui. Last time it would be hard to convict Natsui because everyone who died in the same room as Maria when Natsui was specifically locked in the grandfather's room. This time it's almost too obvious that Rosa has the opportunity, has the chance. I mean, we know that Shannon and Genji, well, we assume that Shannon and Genji were up there. Right? Right? I don't remember. I think the last time we saw them, they were up there. I'm confused now. Anyway, for now, we should all try to stay together as much as possible. I agree. We don't even know where the culprit's hiding, and after all, there's no proof that there's only one of them. Even though I'd said it myself, I shivered. That's right. Could a single person kill 6 people and set up such a horrible scene all alone? Isn't it natural to assume that this crime was carried out by multiple culprits? I agree with Rosa-san. It's probably good for us to stay together. Yes, yes, I think it's good too. Yes, yes. Maybe it's about time we called for Milady and Cannon-san. How about that? That's right. Let's have them come down. George and Nikki tried to grab the extension phone, but Goto-san shook his head. That's right, the phones are down right now, aren't they? I'll go with a couple people. If George, Nikki, and Goto-san come too, that should be enough. No, let's all go together. It's a wolves and sheep puzzle. If we're in balance while gathered together like this, then maintaining this situation will be safest. A wolves and sheep puzzle? Oh, I've got it. I'll show you. Maria turned off the television. Genji-san, please tell me where Jessica-chan's room is. Let's all go together. Yes, I will guide you. Come on, everyone. We'll move together. Follow my instructions. We stood up. Maria alone looked like she had some regrets about the TV, but she decided to go along with everyone for now and got up. Shannon, thank goodness. I was a bit worried when you took so long to get back. I am sorry to have worried you. The master ordered me to transcribe something for him. Transcribe? Shannon. I'm sorry, excuse me. Could Shannon have written the witch's notes? Like, done the writing? We headed for Jessica's room with the armed Aunt Rosa and Genji-san in the lead. Jessica and Kennen-kun were a boy and a girl of about the same age. It'd sure be a shame if we barged in on them at a bad time, or at least that's what we'd be joking about normally. However, Aunt Rosa was on edge, constantly exuding a sense of tension. So it definitely wasn't the sort of atmosphere for careless remarks like that. Hey, don't fall behind. Everyone move together. We don't know when or where the culprit might leap out at us, alright? No, maybe Aunt Rosa's attitude was more appropriate. Since grandfather hadn't come down, Aunt Rosa was our leader. This wasn't a situation where she could smile like she always did. And Aunt Rosa was a mother, too. She probably also thought that, if she didn't get a hold of herself, some harm might befall her beloved daughter. The culprit had killed 6 of our parents at once. The method they had used was unknown, but there was a good chance this opponent could take down a large number of people in a flash. Could that be with weapons or with numbers? Or with the magic of a witch? In any case, I couldn't think of any reason it'd be okay to let our guards down. The rest of us had better take much, much greater care, just like Aunt Rosa. Everyone stop. Aunt Rosa spoke in a sharp voice. Wondering what this was all about, we peered forwards, and immediately realized the reason. Yeah, that would do it. What is this? Eep! Everyone get back. Goto-san and Genji-san approached the door. Beyond this door was probably Jessica's room. This seems to be the same paint that was scribbled on the door of the chapel. It appears so. It seems not much time has passed since it was drawn. What the heck? Is that another magic circle? It's the first magic circle of the moon. It has the power to open unopening doors. Drawn to the Drawn on the door to Jessica's room was the same kind of creepy scribble that had been drawn on the door to the chapel. That strange pattern must have had some occult meaning, but it didn't matter what that meaning was. We were worried about whether those two were okay. That doesn't matter. Are Jessica-chan and Kennen-kun okay? I can talk tonight. This does not bode well. We should quickly bring those two downstairs. Milady, are you there? Please answer. Goto-san knocked violently and yelled, but there was no answer. He gripped the doorknob with a clatter, but the lock just resisted him. Rosa-san, it seems to be locked. There's no helping it. Please open it up. Genji nodded, and Goto quickly unlocked the door with the master key. Okay. Because the witch removed Cannon's body. Assuming that it's not in the room. I'm assuming it's not. That when she disappeared it went to be placed somewhere else in the building. Because of that, they're gonna probably think that Cannon did it, and Cannon has a key. You know? I don't know. We'll see. In the back of my mind, horrible images floated up and disappeared, one after another. Magic circle had been drawn on the door to the chapel. Behind that lay 6 corpses. So if there's a magic circle drawn on the door to Jessica's room, then beyond it must be. Jessica-sama! What happened? Is she there? Jessica, what happened? It was truly heartless. The expression on Goto-san's face and his cry as he opened the door prepared us for the brutal fate that Jessica had met even before we saw her. Everyone rushed into Jessica's room at once. That scene told everyone that their worst fears were spot on. Oh, dang. Jessica! How horrible. Dr. Nanjo. Inside the room, which seemed elegant for the bedroom of one so young, Jessica lay crumpled on the ground. There was a large pool of blood on the floor. There was a knife or something sticking deep into her back. Was it a knife? There was a design on the handle that just had to symbolize something demonic. It had to be a weapon, with some kind of occult meaning. This is horrible. She has passed away. This probably reached her lungs. Not much time has passed since she died. Jessica, damn it. Patler-sama. I was naive. I knew it. Since the culprit couldn't escape the island, they were definitely close by, so why didn't I get cautious sooner? I was naive. Just assumed that a culprit would commit their crime and then just sneak away and hide. We were stunned then. We thought Jessica-chan giving in to rage and running off was just something that couldn't be helped. But we were naive. You should have stopped her. Yoda-san, why did you leave those two alone? If only you had been with them, something like this. No, that is, I said it was dangerous, so we should return. It's just that Milady said she wanted to be alone. Kennen-san told me to leave it to him and... Speaking of which, where's Kennen-san? That's right. What in the world happened to Kennen-kun? Kennen-kun, where... Kennen-san should have been with Milady. Where in the world did he go? You don't think they got him? Quiet. Someone might be hiding in this room. Search under the bed and in the closet. There's a chance that Kennen-kun's corpse had been pushed away somewhere. At Rosa-san's order, everyone searched throughout the room together. But there wasn't a single human hiding anywhere. Yes, he was supposed to chaperone Beatrice away. Actually, had Goto stayed, there would have been too many people in the room. So that actually probably would have saved them. Where's Kennen? Kennen is currently MIA because the witch went poof on the body and made it disappear. Because causing chaos. He's nowhere. Could the culprit have taken him out of the room? Then we'll have to search for him quickly and save him. If we're slow, something awful might happen. Aunt Rosa, let's search all over the mansion. Let's search for the culprit. Let's save Kennen-kun. Quiet. When Aunt Rosa yelled at us, we felt instantly silent. She was probably contemplating something. However, what in the world could that be? Aunt Rosa walked around the room as though looking for something, or as though she was collecting her thoughts. Okay. Did anyone go up to see the grandfather with her, or did she go alone? Because technically, opportunity-wise, this really is... Rosa is perfectly set up to have done everything. She could have killed those two on the way to grandfather's room. She could have killed the grandfather, assuming Genji and Shannon were out of the room. Like, part of Genji and Shannon being furniture is, to some extent, their narration is unreliable. And because of that, we can't trust entirely that what they say is entirely truth. Their truth is tinted. Oh. Also, one could argue that Kennen didn't die because Shannon's still here, and if our theory that Shannon and Kennen are the same person, there's a timeline incongruency there. You know? Alright. What are you looking for? Then she found something on the side table by the bed and picked it up. If anyone knows, tell me. Which key is this? Aunt Rosa showed everyone a key with a cute mascot attached to it. Judging from its cute appearance, I didn't doubt it was Jessica's key, but I had no way of knowing for sure. It's probably the key to this room, to Milady's room. After hearing that, Aunt Rosa made a point of going outside the door and checking. Without a doubt, it was the key to this room. I wonder why it was set in a place like this. Wouldn't you normally keep such an important key in your pocket? Milady wasn't in the habit of locking her room. It seems she would only do it when she went to school, because she didn't want someone like Karlsama to look inside her room. I see. She wasn't at school, so it's natural that Jessica-chan would set the key down here. How many keys can open this door? Just the one Milady had. Can it be opened with your master keys? They can open it. How many master keys are there? Are all of the servants holding them? Are there extras? Yes, we all have one. As for extras, I wonder. There used to be several, but Madame scolded us harshly, saying that was careless, so they should have been dealt with. That is correct. There is only one held by each servant. There are no more. Battler wants to insist on this be in red. Wait a sec. I think we talked about extra master keys in the last game, right? Indeed. Well, regarding that, I have noticed that having several master keys whose locations are unknown is quite disadvantageous for me. That's probably right. Since you want to make me believe in magic using closed rooms, it'd really hurt you if there were more master keys than we thought. After all, every time a trick involving locks shows up, I plan to resist by arguing that the culprit had a master key that someone lost in the past or a duplicate. Yes, that's correct. So I've decided to make a move to defeat that. I'll update our setting. The only master keys are the ones held by the servants, one key each. Pat. Messing with me. More importantly, what kind of move is this? What's Aunt Rosa talking about? Okay, here's a question. Do Shannon and Cannon have their own keys, or are they the same key? Because, okay, anyway, so many arguments. I really want to know if they're the same person or not. Now, like, oh, I don't know. Who knows? You should try listening in. Thank you. I have the situation sorted out. About keys that open just the bedroom. That's true. Well, no, they said it was just her who had one. Because they established that first, and then they established the master key thing. I have the situation sorted out, and I've been able to pinpoint the culprit who assaulted Jessica-chan, or at least one of their accomplices. Ugh. What did you say? Who is it? Aunt Rosa, you don't mean Cannon-kun, do you? Huh? What? Why Cannon-kun? Because he's the only one with a key. This room was locked, and the only keys that can unlock it are the master keys, held by each servant, and the key Jessica had. But Jessica-chan's key was closed up in here, which means it's only possible that one of the master keys unlocked this room, or locked this room up. Is as you say. In that case, someone killed Jessica, then locked the door. That person had a master key. There are only 5 people with master keys. Oh my, it wasn't me, not me. No, I could never do such a thing. Kumasawa-san got up late. After we returned from the chapel to the parlor, we did meet you there, but it's impossible to prove where you were and what you were doing until that time. You watched us from the shadows, chased after Jessica-chan and Cannon-kun when they were isolated, and stealthily attacked them. Are you saying I visited Milady's room? I did something so horrible. Really, you're going after Kumasawa? I did no such thing. Yes, no such thing. What about you, Goto-san? You said you left Jessica-chan in Cannon-kun's care and returned. That's true. But I wonder if that's true. Maybe you actually killed the 2 of them, hid Cannon-kun's corpse, and then came back with an innocent look on your face. Nothing of the sort happened. I go to swear that I did not do anything like that. It wasn't us. We were following the master's orders and... Yes, you and Genji-san alone are clean. That's backed up by what I heard from Father. The two of you were in Father's room the whole time, transcribing and witnessing for him. Father and I can guarantee that. Okay, she covers that up so fast though, but they're also her alibi for having gotten up there as quickly as she did. I don't trust anything. In that case, the argument becomes who is more suspicious, Goto-san or Kumasawa-san. I thought that myself right after entering this room. Honestly, the real question is, where's Cannon and why aren't you asking about him? Because if you are possessed by the witch, you would know Cannon is dead. But still, I found it strange. Look at the state of Jessica-chan's body. Doesn't everyone think it's strange? Strange, you say? Jessica-chan was struck in the back. Come on, they say it all the time, right? That in crimes where the victim is struck in the back, there's a high likelihood that the culprit was someone whose face was known to the victim. She definitely wouldn't invite a person she didn't trust into her room, defenselessly expose her back. Rosa-sama, you don't mean... Oh, now you're gonna accuse Cannon. Just say it was Cannon, do you? I do. We're all fully aware of the state Jessica-chan was in right before she was killed. After seeing her parents' tragic bodies, Jessica-chan was very panicked. It's easy to imagine that, after she regained her composure, she'd be in a horrible slump. It would be very understandable if Jessica's frame of mind led her to shut herself up alone in her room. And those particulars matched with Goto-san's story. Jessica-chan said to leave her alone. Then Kennen-kun, who was of a similar age and who may have some adolescent relationship with her, said to leave this matter in his hands. That feeling is also very understandable. So, for that reason, I think Jessica-chan welcomed Kennen-kun into her room. But what if it had been Goto-san or Kumasawa-san? Would she have let them into her room? I believe that I have gained Milady's trust, but even so, Oh, then I guess you're still a suspect after all, Goto-san. I assume Jessica-chan probably didn't like you very much, so I didn't think she would let you into her room. I was convinced that you couldn't possibly be the culprit, but maybe I was mistaken. No, I am sad to say that I may not have been accepted by Milady. What about you, Kumasawa-san? Honestly, that's a really great way to force them to throw Cannon under the bus. Oh, we are far too separated by age to understand the feelings of a young person like Milady very well. And for the same reason, perhaps Milady never opened up her heart to us. Right, Goto-san? Yes, that's right. It would have been quite difficult for her to open her heart to the likes of us. It would be inconceivable for Milady to let us into her room when she was grieving. Goto-san and Kumasawa-ba-chan each rubbed their hands together, affirming each other with forced smiles on their faces. Kumasawa has known her since she was a small child. Goto is still there every day. Like, there's plenty of reasons she'd let you in. It was a truly unpleasant rondo. So it was a person who might be allowed to enter Jessica-chan's room while she was grieving. A person who might have been given access to her defenseless back, and who had a master key. That only points to one suspect. It was impossible for anyone except Kennen-kun. Please, wait. Kennen-kun definitely wouldn't do something like... Oh, then is there someone else? Is Goto-san or Kumasawa-san suspicious after all? Who do you think is more suspicious, Shannon-chan? Come on. I could never... It wasn't me, Shannon-san. Yes, it was not me. Of course, it wasn't me either. The ones who had close relationships with Milady were Kennen-san, and after him you, right? Yeah, isn't that right? Jessica-chan might also let Shannon-chan into her room. You were supposedly with Father, but in reality, would you be the culprit? Shannon couldn't be the culprit. Didn't she just say she was doing some important work with Grandfather? Yes, I know. Neither Shannon-chan nor Genji-san is the culprit. Father confirmed they were together the whole time. Well then, what do you think, everyone? After being told that, no one could respond. Even if someone did manage to argue back, they'd then have to offer the name of a different suspect. And no matter who that suspect was, it would have to be someone right there. No one could do something like that. I wanted Maria to chime up with Beatrice. Aunt Rosa glanced at everyone in turn, fingering the gun like it was a toy. You seem so different from the kind Aunt Rosa I knew. No, it's probably because I'm not fully aware of the danger we're in. Maybe Aunt Rosa's attitude would seem natural if only I could sense the peril surrounding us. It looks like no one has an opinion, and I'll give you mine. Of course, I can't deny the possibility that Kennen-kun's a victim without a corpse. But until we find that corpse, I certainly can't rule Kennen-kun out as a suspect. There's a chance he'll suddenly appear again, claiming to have been attacked by the culprit and confined somewhere. But take care. Most likely, no, there's no doubt about it. Kennen-kun killed Jessica-chan. Yeah, as soon as she disappeared the body, I knew that was gonna happen. No way. Rosa's the worst except for all the other adult siblings. I mean, yes? I mean, Natsui wasn't that bad. And Kyrie, we don't have much reason to hate. I can't believe it. Kennen did that. To Milady. That's too much. I feel the same as Shannon. I'm opposed to labeling Kennen-kun as the culprit. Then is the culprit Goto-san or Kumasawa-san? Tell me who's more suspicious. It wasn't us! Okay, what about the unknown person theory? If it wasn't Kennen-kun, then who could have locked this door? Oh, right, Kyrie isn't a sibling. Sorry, I was lumping all the parents in together. Because Rain was like, they're all the same age. They're in that age range. They're that group of people. That's true. The adult siblings are all pretty bad. Then again, I'm pretty sure that everyone connected to this grandfather is like just a little off. Georgekin? Huh? Aunt Rosa closed in on Shannon-chan and George Aniki, laughing unpleasantly. Of course they couldn't say anything back. They wanted to believe in Kennen-kun. But if they did, they'd have to suspect the other servants. The simplest culprit was the mystery guest, Beatrice. But she was nothing more than a guest and didn't have a master key. So if Beatrice is the culprit, despite lacking a master key, then do we have to accept the argument that she really is a witch, who locked the door with the power of magic? Okay, that's a dirty argument. Dirty, so dirty. What are you worried about? Make it my fault. You can just make it the fault of the 19th person, the mystery guest, right? If you do, you won't have to watch this ugly battle of humans blaming each other, right? Aha! So then what? The culprit is the 19th person, the guest Beatrice. She's a witch, so she could lock the door without using a key, using magic. Are you telling me to accept that? Damn it. Damn it, damn it. Ha! In the last game, I learned all your weak points. So what will you do? What will you do? You said you definitely wouldn't accept me, right? Then you can use Kennen as the perfect sacrifice he is. Kennen killed Jessica. If you support Rosa's theory, everything is settled here, right? Kennen is already dead. There should be no need to show concern for the dead. And you won't have to suspect anyone in this room. Ha. Damn it! I won't accept you. But Kennen-kun being the culprit is impossible. I don't want to suspect anyone. However, at times, there's no smoke without fire turns out to be true. Anyway, you can never be too cautious. Dr. Nanjo, what do you mean by that? Please do not misunderstand. I do not wish to label Kennen-san as the culprit. However, until we understand the situation, there is a possibility that he is the culprit. And I believe thinking that way is safer. Oh, yes, that's right. You cannot be too cautious. The general consensus certainly didn't seem to find fault with Nanjo for what he said. True, no one actually thought Kennen was the culprit. But unless they suspected him, they'd have to suspect one of the servants here. We didn't want to do that. We didn't want to suspect. We didn't want to be suspected. Look at the person with the gun! That's correct. we cannot be too vigilant. I take it no one objects to that, right? Understand? There's a very high likelihood that these murders are connected to Father's legend of the gold. That means the crime must have been plotted by someone who wants to keep a vast amount of gold, worth several billion yen, all for themselves. With that kind of money, you could play around for the rest of your life in any country. With a motivation like that, they might even intend to kill all of us. Maria. Because she didn't have a master key, the 19th person, the guest Beatrice, is removed from suspicion for the murder of Jessica Chan alone. But we cannot conclude that she's unrelated to the crime. After all, it's a vast amount of gold we're talking about. We can't deny the possibility that there are multiple culprits. Right now, one of the people here among us might have been bought by the culprit. As Aunt Rosa yelled, she looked all around, her gun still raised. Don't believe anyone, suspect the person next to you, that's what she was saying. But no one wanted to suspect. They didn't want to suspect anyone here. But weakness in their hearts demanded an answer from those not present. There are only two ways you can be sure someone isn't a suspect. If it's yourself, or if they're already no more than a corpse. Same goes for Canon-kun. Until we catch sight of his corpse, he is the most likely suspect in Jessica Chan's murder. So take care. Even if he's still alive, even if he smooths things over with some explanation, you definitely mustn't trust him. Got it? No one gave an answer of their own initiative. However, those who met Aunt Rosa's eyes had to nod their heads. Humans are beings who live by molding themselves to fit society. In other words, from the time they're born, trusting each other is genetically imprinted on them. It is unpleasant to go against that. They never want to suspect someone. But if they're forced to suspect someone, they find it safest to choose someone who isn't present at that moment. For the purpose of safety and nothing more, they half-heartedly chose Canon to be the sacrifice. That's ridiculous. I definitely don't want to believe that Canon-kun is the culprit. I'd heard it from Georgiana Key just now. Not only were those two close in age, they also had that kind of adolescent relationship Aunt Rosa had mentioned. It may be a little late now, but yes, they really did have that kind of air about them. After seeing her parents' tragic corpses, Jessica, bearing deep wounds in her heart, would only have trusted Canon-kun. It was very easy to imagine. And that's why I don't like it. Canon-kun was the only one she trusted, so she wouldn't have let anyone but Canon-kun in. So Canon-kun was the only one who could have killed Jessica? I just can't accept that kind of argument. Understand? Even if Canon-kun appears, don't let your guard down. As long as we cannot prove Canon-kun's innocence, we will assume that Canon-kun is the culprit who killed Jessica-chan. That was Aunt Rosa's claim. By using the vague word assume, she'd managed to convince everyone in the end. Everyone nodded weakly. And with the excuse that they were just assuming it for the time being, they concluded that Canon was the culprit who had killed Jessica. Wonder what the dead Jessica and Canon would think if they could hear this exchange. Find out in the Golden Lamp. Oh, Jessica was crying. She was crying into the chest of the person who had put his life on the line to fight for her, Canon. It was frustrating. So frustrating that it felt like her chest would explode. She grieved and resented how far the dignity of the dead had been trampled. How can those guys treat Canon-kun like the culprit? Because there's no corpse. How can they treat you like the culprit just because there's no corpse? You risked your life to fight for me, right? Then that would erase the corpse for fun. For them to call you the culprit after that, it's horrible, too horrible. It's okay. I wasn't able to protect you in the end, but I was able to be of use to you in our final minutes. Why doesn't everyone understand that? Stop it, Aunt Rosa. Don't call Canon-kun the culprit with that messed up logic. She isn't saying I'm the culprit. She's just saying I'm suspicious. No. She's saying to be careful. She is saying it. These people are saying you're the culprit so they can stop thinking. They aren't thinking about who the culprit who killed me is anymore. They aren't thinking of the possibility that you aren't the culprit. After this, every time something happens, they'll use the excuse that Canon-kun did it, since we don't know where he is. I can't stand that. It's okay. At least you know the truth. If only I know the truth, that's pointless. I know it after dying. Truth belongs to living humans. If the truth doesn't remain, the dead won't be rewarded. They won't know that Kennen-kun risked his life for. Truly a splendid sight. You hardly ever find a sweeter honey than the laments of the dead. Lament, lament. No matter how much you lament, the voices of the dead never reach the living. Damn it, damn it. Doesn't matter who. Hear my voice. Kennen-kun isn't the culprit. Kennen-kun's corpse was just erased. Why don't you understand that? Milady. Can't stand this. It's too sad. I hate it. This way, it's like Kennen-kun died for nothing, right? The honor of the dead means nothing unless it's acknowledged by the living. It doesn't matter who. Notice it. Notice it, please. Kennen-kun isn't the culprit. Ah, don't go, everyone. Please don't let it end like this. Don't go. Aunt Rosa announced that this room would be sealed until the police came. The rest didn't want to suspect each other, so they happily accepted that. Now, they accepted that Kennen was the culprit. Without even imagining how much disgrace that gave to the dead, they accepted it. Milady, you've done enough. Thank you. Don't go! Don't go, everyone! I'm begging you, come back. Don't leave us behind like this. Don't keep treating Kennen-kun as the culprit. Ah! It won't reach. The laments of the dead never reach. You make me laugh, yes, that face of yours makes me laugh. Did you think your voice would reach them? It won't reach, will it, Jessica? Ah. Oh. It's all useless. Huh? Battler-kun, did you say something? Yeah, it's useless. It's all useless. Just as everyone was about to leave the room, Battler stood alone with his back to them, still looking down at Jessica's corpse. What do you mean it's all useless? Do you have some objection? Yes, go back into Phoenix Wright mode. I agree that we've got to stay on our guards. But sorry, I'm not buying all that about Kennen-kun being the culprit. Oh? So you're speaking up at a time like this? If Kennen wasn't the culprit, and it wasn't my doing, how do you explain this closed room that Jessica's room has become? Yeah, the big music shift, it's like, the protagonist has awoken! To be honest, I don't even have a clue at that point. Seriously, why'd I have to go and say it's all useless? Guess I'd better take responsibility for my own words. Heh. I'm empty-handed with zero weapons to argue with, but I'm not gonna sit around on the sidelines anymore, Beatrice. Battler-sama. Is there some proof that Kennen-kun is the culprit? The expression that rose to those two faces was definitely one of anticipation. They didn't want to believe that Kennen was the culprit. They really believed in Kennen. So they were expectant because they wanted me to strengthen their beliefs in him even more. Then Battler-kun, which of the other servants do you suspect? Goto-san? Or is it Kumasawa-san? Quit it, Aunt Rosa. I know the person called Kumasawa-chan well. She'll sometimes slack off while on the job, but she always makes fun of things for people. Or things fun for people. Even if her eyes were dazzled by money, she isn't the kind of person who'd kill for it. Battler-sama. I just met Goto-san yesterday. Honestly, I still don't really understand him. But there's something I do understand. I've never seen anyone who cooks as happily as he does. He's the same as Kumasawa-chan. Goto-san likes to make people happy. And if a person like that could kill those who praised his food as delicious, even if money was piled up in front of him. Then who do you think killed Jessica-chan, Battler-kun? Who do you think shut Jessica up in a room that could only be locked by a master key? Wait, before I argue about that, there's something I want to make clear. I don't want to talk about it. If so-and-so is not the culprit, then so-and-so must be the culprit. I just want to talk about how it's completely impossible for Kennen-kun to be guilty. You say you can prove that Kenan isn't the culprit. How? It's actually simple, and it's something I almost overlooked. Vito. Repeat it. If you can say it, try saying it. Kenan-kun had a master key on him. Oh. Kenan-kun doesn't have a master key on him? How could you possibly know that? A short while ago, I heard from Goto-san about what happened. About how Jessica went to raid the VIP room, right before she and Kenan-kun went off on their own. Goto-san, you did a good job remembering it. You protected Kenan's honor. I did? I heard him say the same thing, but I don't really understand. Could you explain it, Battler-kun? That's right. When Jessica unlocked the VIP room, she borrowed the key from Kenan-kun, but didn't give it back. So Kenan-kun doesn't have his master key on him. Ah ha ha! Clever. Ha! Is that really so? True, Goto has no recollection of the master key being returned to Kenan. However, she might have returned it when Goto wasn't looking. How does that prove that it definitely didn't happen? If you could just search the pockets of Kenan's corpse, you'd be able to say for sure, but she can't. But we can check Jessica's corpse. It's impossible to prove. It's all useless. It's actually pretty simple, isn't it? No way. So you're saying that's why Kenan-kun didn't have a key on him? Yeah. And to prove it, all you have to do is search Jessica. Kenan-kun's master key should be in Jessica's pocket. Dr. Nanjo, would you check for us? Indeed. Nanjo dashed up to Jessica and searched in her jacket pocket. Everyone was expectant. Please, be there. Here it is. Is this it? Yes, that is a master key, without a doubt. At Genji's statement, there was a small oh of joyful voices. That's Kenan-kun's master key. I'll say it again. Kenan-kun doesn't have a master key on him, so there's no way he could have locked the door. It certainly does appear that way. But Kenan-kun was the last person to meet Jessica-chan. The fact that he's suspicious hasn't changed. Let's give that stuff a rest. Huh? Fundamentally, humans are supposed to be creatures that trust each other. But because we live in a tough world, we learn how to be deeply suspicious. So we suspect everything. We're sad creatures. I won't deny that it's our nature. But the one thing I won't let you do is reach conclusions without proof. If someone looks suspicious, that doesn't make them guilty, it makes them innocent. Of course, the world is filled with wolves. I'm not saying you should carelessly believe everyone. But if you're gonna conclude that someone's guilty, you'd better have some pretty perfect evidence. Unless you do, don't go around accusing them based on speculation. Ugh. That's... The music spools back up. I thought I was winding down. It's like, nope, we're back. I was the one who brought up there's no smoke without fire. That was careless of me. I apologize. Battler-sama. Wonderful reasoning, Battler-kun. Thank you too, Goto-san. Because of what you remembered, Kenan-kun's been cleared from suspicion. No, Clap, clap, clap. It was a crisp sound of the witch applauding. Well done, well done. Not a bad job. Crap. Did I fall for that bait piece just like you wanted? Magnificently proved that Kenan at least couldn't lock the door to this room. The servants should have all had master keys. With that proof, Kenan was treated as the culprit, but you've at least managed to clear away that suspicion. Haha. In that case, how did the culprit who killed Jessica lock the door? So that's the problem we have now. Huh. Got drawn into exactly the flow you wanted. I got you, didn't I? Furthermore, you said something outrageous about not doubting any of the other servants. Well then, I can't wait to see how you try to smooth that over. Shut up. Let's start right away. You'll probably just deny it anyway, but first let's check the definition of this room as a closed room. Very well. First, there are absolutely no types of hidden doors. This door is the only way in or out. The only way to lock this door is with Jessica's single key or the master keys, only one of which is held by each servant. It is on the second floor, but is probably possible to enter or leave through a window. However, the window is locked from the inside. I can spin the chessboard around already. If I start by arguing about the door and the lock, I'll probably be stuck dancing on the palm of your hand. As you like. Well then, what should I repeat? Repeat it. Kennen-kun was killed in this room. Very well. Kennen was killed in this room. But I erased his corpse with magic, right? She insists on the existence of Kennen. And we know everyone's talking to Shannon. But also this is magic realm, not on the battlefield, so arguing the existence of Kennen is going to be pointless in the red. At least at the moment. The concept of Kennen was killed in this room. Alright. Ha. Again, repeat it. Kennen-kun's corpse is in this room. Ha! I refuse. I can't repeat it. Because I erased the corpse with magic. Huh? Yeah, figures you wouldn't say that. There's gotta be a secret hidden in there somewhere. Damn, where's the mysterious point I've gotta find? Did they lock it without the master key? Or did they somehow kill those two while they were inside the room and it was locked? Or did they kill those two and then somehow escape? I hate to say it, but I'll have to cover up the moat first. Repeat it. The last time it was locked was due to a master key. I also refuse that. Ha! This refusing things is really vague. I don't know if you refuse because it's impossible to repeat, or whether you can repeat it and you're refusing on purpose. Back when discussing the lock to the chapel, you completely turned the tables on me. When I have an advantage, there's no need to go out of my way to use red when it might be risky. That's all it is. I guess that makes sense. Originally, the point of the red was to counter my strange theories. Naturally, I'd use it in a way that works to my advantage. Now that I know I've got to worry about you twisting it around, I won't use it pointlessly. Ha. Well then, what move will you use next? I imagine a move placing suspicion on Goda or Kumasawa will be easiest, yes? Damn. Feels like you're leading me by the nose and it pisses me off. Stay quiet a bit, I'm thinking. Of course, the door is the same as the chapel. When locked, it does not permit any form of entry. I'll say it more. No trick could have the effect of locking the door from the outside without using a key. Ha. Shh. Damn you for always using red when I don't ask for it. Time to step back to square one. For now, I've just got to think. I'll lay out everything I know. First, there are two victims. Jessica and Kennen. Kennen-kun's corpse isn't here, but Beatrice admitted in red that Kennen-kun was killed. So even without a corpse, he's included as a victim. There are a few questionable points, and depending on which I focus on, my line of thought changes a lot. First, after the culprit committed murder in this room, how did they lock it? If we assume the culprit's someone with a master key, it's extremely simple. But I'd like to avoid that if I can, because I'd have to suspect Goda-san or Kumasawa-san, or maybe even Shannon-chan and Genji. Here I noticed something. I was contradicting myself. I was strangling my own neck. I wanted to deny Beatrice no matter what. I wanted to erase the existence of that brutal, fickle, ridiculous witch. So I have to explain everything with humans, not magic. But that also means suspecting some human. That's what I was saying last time when we were talking about this. Battler's weakness is he can't bring himself to pin it on a human. That's his Beatrice, is I can't pin it on a human, but I also cannot accept the existence of magic. I don't want to suspect anyone. Of course, if there's some clear proof, I'll have to believe that the person in question is the culprit. But until that happens, I don't want to suspect people. Am I just naive? Am I just a kid who doesn't want to have my feelings betrayed when those feelings tell me that this person at least could never commit murder? I want to deny that a witch did it. And I also want to deny that a human did it. I don't even know what I'm doing it right now. Ha! In the first place, the only victory condition in our game was whether or not you could deny my existence. Even though that alone puts you at a disadvantage, you've increased the number of victory conditions all by yourself, making your own victory harder. It's just as she says. If I just argue that someone with a master key did it, this closed room can be broken easily. However, the number of keys that can open this door is limited. And since it's clearly known who has them, using that argument means I'd be suspecting someone I know as well. In fact, have I just been averting my eyes from the truth? Even while attacking that closed room trick in the chapel, which was exhilarating to destroy, I proposed that someone stole the key from Maria's handbag and returned it. If that's theories, right? Then the question becomes who could have stolen the key from her handbag. Maria's handbag was probably the most unguarded while she slept. In that case, in addition to me, George, Nikki, and Jessica are also suspects. Yeah, he's heading towards arguing everyone just slipped on their knife. They ran into my knife. They ran into my knife 10 times. So George, Nikki, or Jessica is the culprit? Or maybe an accomplice? All of our parents have been killed, right? Yet one of us consented to that and assisted with the crime. We all lamented, mourned, shed tears together at the chapel. And yet one among us was lying? No, we've established that Rosa can get in and out. That theory of yours about taking the key out of the handbag and putting it back casts a pronounced suspicion on the cousins, did it not? And despite that, you acted like you didn't even notice, announcing a theory like that so happily. Ha! Damn it. That doesn't guarantee that one of the family or servants is the culprit. If you snuck up on us while hiding in a cardboard box, for example, there's a good chance you could have slunk into our room when we were fast asleep and stolen the key, right? Perhaps that will do for that situation. By suspecting the guest, the 19th person, you won't have to suspect the others. In that case, how is Jessica's room locked? It's no trouble at all for me to open the lock with magic, but of course, I don't have a master key. If you deny my magic, you also have to deny that I'm a suspect, correct? So in other words, that means suspecting one of the 18. Oh yeah, thanks for the help. I've managed to sort things out a bit. My goal is to figure out how the 19th person, the human guest Beatrice, committed the crimes. If I do that, I won't have to suspect anyone. Ha! If you can do that. Foolish man. This wasn't a closed room from the beginning. After all, there are a total of 6 keys that can open it. Several people possess such keys. You can suspect any of them. Suspect as much as you like, but you went to all the trouble of denying all of them, making it a closed room yourself. Understand? This is a closed room born of your mental contradiction. Ah. You and no one else sealed that door. So you're trying to say that I've got 2 options. Accept that a witch opened it with magic, or accept that someone I know is the culprit. Damn, are you trying to fork the rook? What does fork the rook mean? I just want to show you that moves such as this can exist as well. Heh. So what will you do, Ushiromiya Battler? Isn't it actually simple? Don't you just have to make sacrifices of that overly self-confident cook and that hag who wouldn't be a loss if she died? Damn it. If I suspect Goda-san or Kumasawa-san, everything will be fine? That's useless. I can't think of Goda-san as the culprit. I can't think of Kumasawa-san as the culprit, but I won't accept you. No matter what. In that case, they'd have to enter the room without using magic or a master key, kill Jessica and Cannon, and even erase Cannon's corpse without using magic. How could it be done? How could it be done so that you can deny me while still not suspecting anyone else? Okay. Before we keep going, I think what I've come to the conclusion in my brain is I don't know how I think what happened was Cannon walked into the room. If we're going with the Cannon and Shannon are the same person as well as Beatrice, the 19th human, like all 3 of them together being the same person, I think Cannon walked into the room with a master key, which would have been Shannon's, because the household would just know there is a key for Cannon and there is a key for Shannon. Cannon walked in the room, turned into Beatrice, murdering the concept of Cannon to Jessica in a way. If that makes sense. Like, the idea of Cannon has been murdered in that room. Beatrice kills Jessica, leaves the room and locks the door with Shannon's key. I think that's what happened. The only problem with this is that Shannon would have to have done that before going up to sign documents, or like to transcribe for the grandfather. Or something to that extent. Something is funky in the timeline there. And I don't know exactly what it is. That also doesn't solve Rosa, who I still feel like knows way too much. There's an air of knowing things about her this time around. It's like she holds the cards and she's pretending to discover them. Ah, this makes my head hurt. Battler, I resign. Huh? Battler-kun, what did you say? I give up. I was able to prove that Cannon-kun couldn't have locked this door. That doesn't mean I've managed to figure out who killed Jessica. No, that's more than enough. For Cannon-kun's sake. Thank you very much. No need to thank me. After all, this means you're under suspicion too, Shannon-chan. I'm sorry, Aunt Rosa. It's not like I wanted to resist you. I don't want to die, and I want to find Dad and the rest's true enemy. Sorry for saying something that isn't cooperative. No, it's okay. I also was a little rash. Let's make up. As an aunt and nephew, we have to stay on good terms. Right? Aunt Rosa shifted the gun to one hand and held out the other. I reached out, and for the time being, we shook hands. I don't trust you. Aunt Rosa's gaze was sharp. In order to deny the witch, she would sacrifice anyone. That's what her eyes told me. And me? I denied the witch, but I wasn't prepared to lose anything. I was probably the one who seemed to be fighting the most, and yet the one who was most separated from reality. With Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding somewhere nearby, and that they'd come for our lives if they had the chance. According to Genji-san, when tomorrow morning comes, the boat should arrive. The boat had a radio. We'd probably be able to contact the police directly with that. All of us gathered in the parlor and decided to wait quietly until tomorrow. We proposed that we should search throughout the mansion for clues about the culprit. But Aunt Rosa rejected that, saying that if we managed to corner the culprit, or maybe provoke them, it might lead to a third murder. I also want to voice that we haven't heard from Maria since her mother told her to shut up several times in the living room. We saw her pop up, we saw her face, she did a little thing, and I thought she was going to say it was Beatrice. She did not actually say it was Beatrice. From the magic angle, because again, we have to continue to have both the reality and the magic angle on all of this. From the magic angle, maybe the bad witch inside Rosa put a spell on Maria, telling her to shut the hell up. Or something to that nature. That's probably the right thing to do. If a bunch of amateurs like us investigated, there's no way we'd find anything. It would be wisest to focus on protecting ourselves without doing anything unnecessary, and leave it to the police starting tomorrow. We'd been tense at the beginning, but other than Aunt Rosa, most of us had spent all morning watching TV and getting bored, so our sense of danger had faded considerably. When we thought about it, yes, 6 adults certainly had been killed together with the first murder, but that made it seem like some backhanded method like poison had been used. And for the second murder, we figured those two became sacrifices because they'd been unfortunately isolated from the rest of us. From this, it was possible to imagine that the culprit wasn't a large number of adults, and that they wouldn't be capable of killing this large group gathered in the parlor all at once. Right now, in this parlor, there's George Enaki and me, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goto-san, Shannon-san, Kumasawa-san, and then Dr. Nanjo, for a total of 9 people. Furthermore, Aunt Rosa was even armed with a gun. Surely, with this many people staying in the room, they wouldn't be able to touch us easily. That feeling of security, along with the passage of time, allowed us to recover from the shock of that morning bit by bit. By the way, lunchtime had just ended for us. However, it had been canned food lunch, a far cry from the dinner last night that Goto-san had skillfully made for us. Aunt Rosa also suspected that poison may have been used in the first murder, so we probably couldn't deny the possibility that the culprit had snuck into the kitchen during all the confusion this morning and mixed poison in with the ingredients there. Aunt Rosa gave the orders to all of us, saying that, until the police came, we mustn't put anything into our mouths except safe things like canned food. As a cook, Goto-san must have felt very let down. Apparently eager to display his skill anyway, he said he at least wanted to grab some plates and arrange the canned food on them. Okay, brain, like, you could peel the label off the can. Do something to inject poison into the can. And then put the label back on the can. Sorry, I'm overthinking everything right now. At first, Aunt Rosa had been reluctant, examining each one of the plates that were brought, but she hadn't been able to find anything to complain about. And Goto's chef's pick canned food lunch combo was born. Goto-san said something about taste being savored not just with the tongue, but with the eyes as well. I see, it's the same canned food we ate for breakfast, but it feels like something completely different. It's true. Ooh, Battler! Oh, you're talking. Good. Look! This is the wolves and sheep puzzle. Ooh! As I was sitting lazily on the sofa, with no desire to watch TV, Maria came over, pulled a picture book out of her handbag, and held it out to me. What's that book? Wolves and Sheep Puzzle. Let's see. Wolves and Sheep Puzzle. It was a phrase that Aunt Rosa had said this morning when we'd gone to call in Jessica. At the time, I hadn't known what it meant. Right after that was the uproar when Jessica's corpse was found, so I'd forgotten about it completely. The book that Maria held out to me looked like a foreign picture book, or something that had been translated. When I opened it, I realized that it was a book stuffed with riddles. Oh, so you have a few wolves and a few sheep, okay? The puzzle is how do you take them to the other side using one boat? I've heard about games with rules like that. So this is a version with wolves and sheep? I've heard the one with the wolf, the chicken, and the grain. That one's always fun. Chicken gets moved around a lot. It was a very simple puzzle passed on from long ago. Let's try posing a question. On the right bank, there are 2 wolves and 2 sheep. There's a boat that as many as 2 animals can ride on, and using it, you have to move all 4 of them to the opposite left bank. That's the puzzle. There's 2 rules. First is regarding the boat. Even a single wolf or a single sheep can paddle it, but it can only hold 2 animals. Second rule is regarding the wolves. When they are greater in number than the sheep in any location, they will attack the sheep and it's game over. For example, at the start of the game, let's say the 2 sheep get in the boat and go to the other side. Then one sheep gets off and goes back to the first bank. When it does, there are 2 wolves on the first bank, and a single sheep returns there. When that happens, the number of wolves is greater, so the sheep is attacked and it's game over. On either bank, or even the boat, there must never be more wolves than sheep. Okay, so you take the 2 wolves across, go back over with 1 wolf, put a sheep on the boat, it's a wolf and a sheep, you take it over, you drop off the sheep, it's a wolf and a sheep here, the wolf takes it back over, grabs the other sheep, brings it over, they both get off, they're all over there. Ha! Now you've got to shuttle them all across under these conditions. Sorry, my brain, like, immediately is diving into it. Like, I need to do it. By the way, the right answer is to move both wolves to the opposite bank first turn. When wolf comes back, second turn you move 2 sheep to the opposite bank. Really? Wolf comes back on the third turn, you put that last wolf that was on the right bank on the boat and cross. That's not how I did it exactly, but close enough? To be fair, I didn't have paper. Partway, there may be the same number of wolves and sheep in the boat or on either side, but that isn't a problem. You only lose when the number of wolves is greater. This book uses wolves and sheep as an example, but lots of people probably know this game using different characters. Looks like Maria wanted to test whether I too could solve the puzzle she knew how to solve. She kept showing me different pages, saying, solve this one, and this one's hard. So what was happening when Aunt Rosa first mentioned this puzzle? That's right. When we decided to go and get Jessica, we talked about how many men should go. Aunt Rosa mentioned the wolves and sheep puzzle, saying we should all go together. Wait a sec. That can only mean one thing. Aunt Rosa was saying there was a wolf among us. So she was thinking that we'd be safer if the number of wolves and sheep was in balance, but that the wolves would bare its fangs if the situation changed. At the time we found our parents' corpses, Aunt Rosa already suspected the servants might be wolves. She'd sniffed out the possibility that, while she didn't know whether it was all of them or some of them, there were wolves hiding amongst them. That's no surprise. That murder scene was very elaborate. It's easy to imagine there were multiple culprits. And because she'd reached that conclusion when we went to Jessica's room, and learned that Jessica had been killed after being alone with the servant, Cannon, it isn't hard to imagine why Rosa suspected the servant so persistently. You servants, go to Son is going to the kitchen to clean the dishes. Just in case, would you please all go with him? My apologies, everyone. Let's go as a group. Shinen, Kumasawa, we are going. Yes, yes, coming. Oh. Well then, George-san, excuse me for now. Yes, take care. Ah, Aunt Rosa, could I go as well? I'm sorry, but would you remain here, George-kun? There's something I want to talk to you about. That's so. Sorry, Shannon. Anyway, take care. Don't be alone. Yes. I'm sorry, Dr. Nanjo. I wanted to consult you about something. Yes, what could it be? Servants put the dishes and empty cans on the serving cart and started to head out into the corridor. Behind them, Aunt Rosa was talking to Dr. Nanjo about something in a small voice. Understood. I will go. Yes, I'm counting on you. Dr. Nanjo closed the book he had been reading, rose from the sofa, and followed after the servants. Aunt Rosa stuck her head out in the hallway, and after seeing they were completely out of sight, she closed the door and spoke. Listen up, everyone. With that, everyone here is an Ushiromiya. Yes, that's true. So you're saying that you've chased out all the wolves, Aunt Rosa. With that one sentence, Aunt Rosa's gaze grew sharp. Apparently, she had picked up on the sarcasm. She laughed lightly. Your mind sure works fast, Battler-kun. I like clever kids. Means there's less to explain. Battler smart? Can you solve this? Page 64 is hard. Ooh. Maria, go watch TV for a bit. Mama wants to talk to Battler-kun and George-kun. Aunt Rosa, I heard about the puzzle from Battler-kun. I don't think it's wrong to be on our guards, but I also think there's such a thing as being too suspicious. Whether the real culprit is Beatrice or not, there is reason for us to suspect that the servants are in on it. The first murder, where Nissan and the others were killed, they were treated very brutally, right? That looked like something that could have been done alone. Maybe the mystery guest, Beatrice-sama, worked all night and did it all. What about the master key in the door to Jessica's room? Isn't that proof that one of the servants was involved? Only the master key could have locked the door to Jessica's room, so we can only suppose that one of the servants did it. No. Wait. Spin the chessboard around. That's strange, Aunt Rosa. After killing Jessica, why would the culprit go to all the trouble of locking the door? The fact that it was locked made it inevitable that the owners of the master keys would be suspected. There was no reason for them to go to all the trouble of locking the door. That's right. It's just as Battler-kun says. There's no need for them to go to all the trouble of making themselves look suspicious. Yes, that's an interesting thought. Of course, I also thought that. If that's the case, then the person who locked it wanted to cast suspicion on the servants, and locked it without a master key. That's impossible, right? That's right. If there existed some trick that could lock the door without a master key, that would make this a great disguise for casting doubt on the servants. The culprit's goal was for us to isolate ourselves from the group so they could attack us one by one. This trick would also be effective at giving rise to paranoia. But there was no way to lock that door without using a master key. How can you be sure there's no way to lock that door without a master key? Isn't that a devil's proof, like Rudolph Nissan was talking about earlier? Maybe it was locked by some method we can't think of. Even if we can't think of a way, we can't deny the possibility of some unknown trick being used. It's true too, I guess. So that's it? No smoke without fire again? I don't know the practical details of the trick, but I have a general idea. My apologies, but if we make the assumption that Kennen-kun was the culprit, it can be explained extremely easily. Even as to why there was no corpse. Huh? But Kennen-kun didn't have a master key, right? Putting aside the other servants, at least Kennen-kun shouldn't have been able to lock the door. I see. So that's why you told us to search in the closet and everywhere else right after we entered Jessica's room. Aunt Rosa, your mind works faster than I would have guessed from how you normally act. The brain speed of a little sister is always the big sister's -1. Right now, there's no one I need to worry about offending, which is certainly a relief. Georgianiki realized she was referring to Aunt Eva, and seemed a little uncertain about how he should take that sarcasm. I'm sorry, could you explain it so even I can understand? Kennen-kun's master key was in Jessica-chan's pocket, closed up inside a closed room. After the door was locked, it should have been impossible to put it in her pocket from outside the room no matter what trick he used. That's not it, Aniki. If it was done the way Aunt Rosa's thinking of, the trick could only be used by Kennen-kun. Plus, the door could be locked without using a key while the master key was still in Jessica's pocket. And it would also result in his corpse disappearing. How? How could he lock the door without a key? Simple. George-kun, when you return home, you lock the door, right? You twist the knob, click, and you're done. Huh? Could it be... No, but... Kennen-kun was nowhere to be found. Looks like you've got it, Aniki. That's why Aunt Rosa was searching the room. What Aunt Rosa was searching the room for. She was searching for Kennen-kun, who had locked the door from the inside and stuck the key in Jessica's pocket, before hiding somewhere, waiting for us to walk right past him. It was the simplest kind of closed room trick. It meant him hiding inside the closed room after the murder was committed. Then all he had to do was get out after those who discovered the body left, and the closed room murder would work perfectly. When we searched that room, we didn't find anything. But for all we know, that room might have had a hidden passage that only the servants know about. She is using all of the arguments that Battler knows are false. Don't know where such a thing might have been hidden, but if we assume there was such a passage, we can conclude it was impossible for everyone but him.